Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome back to Endless Legend 2 here in Amabel Goes to Forex School.
Hooray!
I will say, so we had an impromptu vacation because we both got terribly sick, sick in the throat and respiratory area in a way that made it impossible to talk for an hour, which is very unfortunate timing. But we're back now. And one thing I am noticing before we dive back into the substance of the game here is that I think it's very unfortunate, first of all, that we started next to this player, because the color schemes here, the other players are different, are more different colors. It's sort of like orange versus kind of a light brown. There could be a little more differentiation there. But then on top of that, for the coral to be this like very, very pale pink against our already kind of corally orange. It's just unfortunate. The contrast of colors this game worked out to be really unfortunate. So, for a quick reminder of where we are, it's war. It's war. War is happening between us and this terrible necrophage. And we are, for the moment, really surviving off of the fact that low difficulty AIs tend to be fairly low aggression. Right? That's true, I think, in basically every one of these games. For the moment, we're at peace, but it was war and it will be war again, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have a long-term military situation to deal with here. For the moment, we're just trying to expand, take some territory. I would love to get a hold of Rarena to prevent them from expanding westward. If we can, close this off properly. We can evolve it into a camp right now.
Okay.
And then attach it to one of the cities afterward.
I mean, that seems like a...
Probably makes sense, right?
Let's do it.
All right, just to make sure. We're already sort of like cut off from a pretty large chunk of the rest of the landmass, potentially, by the fact that he's done the same thing all the way up to the shore here. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. That said, as the sea keeps receding, more and more land becomes available. So to absorb this into another, to evolve it into a city itself would be quite expensive. To simply attach it to a nearby city is a lot more affordable. So it can become the second territory in either of these for only 100 influence, and that is definitely what we're going to be doing with it. I think we can probably turn off the resource display for the moment. Alright, our characters had some moves keyed in already that they've been waiting to execute for some time, apparently. So this is just some random crawlers. Well, there's definitely something up there. Let's go see what that is.
Yeah, it has been a minute since we were
It has.
doing this.
A seaward expedition. Counselor Xenophon, the host. You're looking happy today. Do you have uplifting trade news to share? In a manner, my proposal for an expedition across Sayada's oceans is finalized, and just needs your approval. And what is the purpose of this expedition? Why, to learn, of course. We will study the sea's ways, the denizens who live in the depths, and the effect of ocean life on the aspects. An admirable endeavor. Counselor Anaximans of Nowhere, as my research expert, I take it this has your backing? Sadly not. Upon close inspection, you will find the plan of Counselor is largely smoke and mirrors, as its true purpose is to secure a seaworthy vessel for the Counselor's cronies. I fear they may even be planning a land grab. However, I doubt Counselor could build a toy that could even float in their bathtub.
Oh, sick bird!
Outrageous! A slur on my name! The project will inspire a generation of adventurers, if not scientists.
If you think that's a slur, fella...
They have a different kind of society, all right? So, we can go ahead and charter the thing, side with Xenophon here. We get a science boost, 5 science per turn for 10 turns on Reefborn. and vision around our enemies. That's kind of cool. We could just throw this whole plan in the garbage, reallocate the dust from the plan, or steal it. Just take it for ourselves. Get 300 influence. The elite should enjoy this luxury vessel. I will say this is not a huge amount of science in total, but more vision of the world is certainly compelling.
Yeah. Well, what is your influence income?
We're bringing in about 20 per turn right now.
Because we're building up to 100 to attach the new place as a city, but with a 300 boost, once we get to where we would anyway, we could just make it its own city.
I don't know that I would want to make it its own city.
So can you take me through the why of that as you're doing the charter and as you're doing
minimize the quest dialogue here? Okay. So we have a couple of things to contend with on that front. First of all, city cap.
Right.
If I want to... We found this before, and then here. We can only have a certain number of cities, right? Right now we're at 2 cities. Our city cap is 3. Once we exceed our city cap, we'll start to suffer an empire approval penalty. And as you can see, our overall empire approval is not super high as it is. Expanding a city too much will cause approval problems in the city in much the same way, but it only causes approval issues for the one city, so it affects the empire less because your empire approval is the weighted combination of all your city approvals, right?
Okay.
So part of it is just I'd like to keep some room under the city cap. Part of it is that if we construct another city here, this is another spot we have to potentially defend from assault. Whereas if we just say this is part of Akamar, then it doesn't found a new city center that we have to protect from siege. The outpost is still attackable, but it's less critical. Like we don't lose all of its output necessarily if it gets bugs on it, the same way we would if it were its own city. And the other thing is I want to put down another city elsewhere. And so going to 400
reserving
and spending
that
the
cap for that.
Yeah, spending the full 400. Well, it's not even so much about the city cap. To be clear, these arguments are in order of ascending importance. If we spend 400 influence here, it's going to take a million years to get to the amount of influence that we need to put down our 4th city, because each city costs successively more. So I'm thinking if we wanted to found a city over here in these more strategic resource dense areas like Irush, or perhaps further west where we can see all this stuff, it's going to be so expensive. So mostly it's about long-term preservation of influence.
Okay. Thank you for walking me through that. So that being said, where are you leaning on that quest?
I have to admit, in terms of raw resource outputs, I do think co-opt is like hugely the best option. What I don't know is if there are longer term narrative consequences to this event. You know?
Yeah.
And I do think that like vision around our enemies, without being able to actually like get a tooltip readout of what precisely this means, more knowledge of the world is more good, broadly. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little torn between these. Basically, like, if there are no future consequences, I like co-opt. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and take co-opt and hope. And if there are future narrative consequences for this, then we will learn that. And that will be good information to have for the future.
Yeah, I will say the previous games from the studio that you showed me, they tend to foreground if there's, like, a future narrative event.
Yeah, I panic clicked there. Not panic, but my hand is twitchy.
Yeah,
I twitched away the following text. It's fine. We got our stuff. And that guy's not going to get to defraud us and sail a boat around because we're defrauding him. We stole his boat. Okay, so we had a unit down here run into a quest marker as well. Oh no, this is what caused this. I see. Okay. Well then. So we have our not you. I'm trying to select the army on this tile rather than the there we go. The army on this tile rather than the city. I guess this is the flag for the army. I could have clicked that. We do not have a lot of military right now. Right? We made a showing and we scared the necrophages, but we paid for it very badly. So I'm not 100% sure how safe I feel running out, you know? But I do want to put down more coral spores. I do want to keep growing our potential territory. No, there's some kind of curiosity over here. Well, that's not so far. And yeah, look at how much coral is spread out now. Like, we are so fast in the area where the coral road has been laid. Even at crossing the river, we're fast. Jeez. Yeah, the coral's a big deal.
Yeah.
We need to make sure there's lots and lots of coral everywhere. It probably behooves us to lay down a spore somewhere down here in the very near future. All right. Oh, no, okay, here it is. This is a separate... It just loaded up that other quest dialogue because I guessed that was what was in the quest panel at the moment. Your army has stumbled upon once submerged ruins with ancient worm-eaten sarcophagi. The bodies look large and powerful. Warriors? Perhaps Gorog ancestors? No, not so large, and it seems they had fine clothing. There are even complex tools or equipment buried with them. It is indeed a mystery. There must be something nearby that hints at their past. Look for the old places, where ancient secrets are hidden. Okay. Yep, and then it's replaying the text for us for some reason. Here we go. Okay. So clear the fortress to acquire a mottled scythe. This weapon is cruel. When attacking a damaged unit, maximizes critical chance. Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And yeah, just some decent raw stats. Okay. Clear the fortress. So there are these little dungeon areas, right?
Yeah.
This subterranean shrine here, Fortress Level 1. We'll get up to 5 rewards randomly selected from the following: 300 dust, various types of equipment. Okay. Unfortunately, this army is very badly injured, and this neutral here is willing to fight us. This minor faction is hostile, is a better way to put that. I was going to say this neutral is hostile, and then in my head I was like, you just said neutral. Does the phrase "this neutral is hostile" mean anything? What are you doing? So let's see here. This is Clax. This is an anomaly. I'm not good at reading all of the new tile art just yet. So there's a lot of glass steel down here, which is compelling. We have access to some decent anomalies. What does Clax do? Where's my resource things? Here we go, Clax. Clax is the approval booster. Okay, so that would definitely be a useful area to take over. Unfortunately, with just the one anomaly kind of pressed against the wall... Well, no, even just like the raw tiles around here are really quite strong. There's a lot of dust left behind by the withdrawing ocean. Yeah, and little ruins and stuff. Okay. Yeah, maybe a dust thing right here, actually, a dust polyp. Could use a second for my troops to regen anyway. Okay, and there's more scouting to do down here. And by scouting, of course, I mean stealing of anomalies. So I'm just going to have all of our units Execute all those queued up moves right away. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. The Forge of the Old Ones. 35 industry on the city in this area, plus 50% gains on battle spoils in the Empire. Built by the Old Ones over an active lava field, this factory complex still creaks and groans with thwarted purpose. Man.
That's some all right writing.
That's neat.
They're so good at a lot of the presentational elements.
Yeah, it does feel like they put a lot more. I don't want to say more effort into it. Like, certainly, the look of Civilization is very effortful, but it's also a very sort of like intentionally pulled back, sort of dry style, right?
Yeah.
The army has come upon great mounds of bodies, masses of the dead who were dumped unceremoniously in a pile. They bear the signs of some disease or corruption. Bones, skin, and joints are deformed and twisted. But most strangely, the piles contain bodies from numerous peoples. The powerful and the powerless all have been laid low. An ugly riddle. The troops are wise. They approach from upwind, masked and covered, and touch the bodies with wood batons. And what is it? What is this new threat we face? We do not know, but it looks serious. These are not ancient mounds, but freshly made. We will search until we have an answer. Okay, so there is a forsaken burial site to search, and we're going to find it. Oh, right, so I should actually attach this. I said I was going to attach it, and then I totally didn't. I think I want to attach it to... So it gets more and more expensive to add territory to a particular, the same city as it gets larger. My thinking is that I want to attach Rarina to Akamar because I want our home city, our capital, to attach stuff northward.
Right. That makes sense.
So let's stick you onto Longshore. The cities don't have the same names as the regions automatically in this one. In Endless Legend 1, the city was always named after the region.
Yeah.
I appreciate that from a display of your culture standpoint, but I'm something I'm gonna have to get used to.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like something like that where they give you a choice between cities. They could absolutely just put the province name like
parentheses
underneath it or in parentheses. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so you guys are looking for... Where's this thing? I know that's where we picked it up. Is that the location of the... Hold on, where's my quest journal? New quest. The Withered Ones. Search the Forsaken Burial Site there. Okay. It's a bit of a run, but I don't think there's too much to be worried about in the area. And here we have discovered a shrine to the God Beast. Approaching the camp, the soldiers are intrigued by the sound of chanting. They discover a strange wicker shrine with several daughters of Boar prostrate at its base. The soldiers drag one of the Boar to her feet, yet she doesn't struggle or cry out, and lets herself be meekly brought before you. The others pay no heed. Who are you, daughter of Boar? My name is Alina, and you should leave this place. Alina, I am Plerogyra, was how we decided we were pronouncing this, right?
I think so.
Do we intrude on your place of worship? It isn't safe for you here. We are strong and armed. We can take care of ourselves. You, on the other hand, seem equipped with little more than prayer. Well, the beasts are no danger to us. They still remember. What beasts? And what do they remember? A few moons ago, a great monster, a god beast, terrorized our village. Many souls were lost. Yet that wasn't the worst. Some of the lost came back, transformed. inhuman. We pray to the god beast that it might free them of their bondage. Let them rest in peace. But your prayers remain unanswered. It is only a matter of time. Our piety is absolute. Well, maybe we can help. For a price. You would stop their suffering. For what? The born know well the old world, the tombs of the ancients. Share what you know, and we will relieve them of their torture. You have our word. Just make their deaths swift. Okay. We're going to handle this for you, presumably. Provided that I have a military capable of doing that. Once again, I need... That had a location on it. I didn't click the thing. Okay, this is the appropriate army. Well, they sure do look different than that lady did.
Yeah.
Strength roughly 270. Definitely going to be too much for this. You know? I say definitely going to be too much for this hero, but actually it looks like just barely. All right, let's head back in the general direction of home. I might need to, build some more military units and stuff. At some point, the necrophages are going to be at us again, and we'll have to be ready for that. And in the interim, we can use our military for cleaning up all these quests. So, we did pick up our unit specializations. It's interesting that... Well, I guess that's not really true. What I was about to say is it's interesting that getting new unit types is not research-based in this game, but it is still research-based in the sense that in order to, move up to the next era, you need to do research, right? But there's no additional technology cost on top of it. So what do we want? We're researching pretty slowly, it feels like to me right now, right? It's like 11 turns for a new technology. So pursuing some science boosting techs might be a good idea.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Unlock a couple of new improvements and an additional 4 raw science on the capital. I do like this thing where many of the researches have an immediate effect. They're not reliant on, first you have to complete the research, then you have to complete the construction before the research even means anything. Because it certainly was the case with a lot of these technologies in the previous game. And also, in a lot of these games in general. If you don't have considerable industry, finishing a technology does nothing.
Yeah.
And that's not certainly far be it from me to be that's not modeling real life closely enough, but it is certainly a serious modeling issue, right? Where that's not how technology works. But on the other hand, it makes science always sort of like a secondary, kind of subsumed resource.
Yeah. And I think even just from a gameplay perspective, there's a way in which this genre, while more complicated, has very board game-like features.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing in a board game is that when you complete a tech or a research or something, you get a little something. So getting an immediate bonus feels good. It feels rewarding. It makes you want to keep doing it.
Wow, this is
it makes those choices feel more meaningful.
These foundlings are coming for us while we're still very unhealed. The instant resolution is defeat. Retreat kills half of my units anyway, though.
Yeah.
And the 2 units that don't die to the retreat are heroes, right? Oh no, sorry, this isn't hero plus units. This is the full army. So the 1 unit, I don't know, I was thinking this was representative of the army leader. So the only unit that survives in any case is the hero. Yeah, we're just gonna fight it. We shall put forth some effort here. So defensive stance up for everybody. Now we have this scoped shot. One thing we do not have, unfortunately, is any kind of area damage. I feel like that's something that we are desperately missing. These things are faster than holy hell. You can run up and guarantee a crit. Okay, this bush gives some defense. So I think my plan, like, this guy's going to die on the first hit against him, right? I don't think there's any saving this aspect. These things move too fast. We're not going to be able to just, like, kill them as they approach with the ranged. But what I can do is run up here, provide the targeting buff. So next person is guaranteed a crit, and is that crit going to be enough, the question is, for you to get a kill? Probably not. Still 112 HP on that unit. Ugh. Yeah, that's a shame. Alright, what about the hero? No, it looks like we're going to have to work together on this no matter what. Ah, we still don't even get there. Sorry, coughing fit there.
Well,
yeah, grim. Once again, would have been really nice to have any kind of area damage at all. The fact that we can only... The fact that we can only hit one thing per turn is absolutely destroying us against these armies of little fast-moving guys. And unfortunately, that is our primary foe. Right? That's how necrophages get down. We should pay some attention to the level up tree and see if there's any kind of explosive attack we can get a hold of. All right, so I'm just gonna we put down our coral. I'm just gonna let our hero get warped home, basically. That's not a big loss. In particular, I think like the most important thing was establishing some coral down there. It will grow as this coral continues to grow, and we'll be able to return and claim shock easily in the future. I would have liked to take out that fortress, but that's a thing we're going to need, more troops, or at least for those troops to have had time to heal in order to pull off. So we're just about to finish a construction here, building ourselves a forum, trying to accelerate our rate of influence growth. So I do then, like, we do have a question then, which is like, what are we doing next with our expansion? Do we want to take shock? Ooh, we can't evolve. I did not realize that the fortress prevents us from turning that into a camp. Okay, that's new information. So probably not then, is my feeling on that one. I do still think that it feels to me like that we want that to be a city down there. We want to have a city down here that can expand out and gobble up all these resources that are around. So this other stuff that we have control over, it feels more like things to integrate into our existing cities.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. Do you have any feelings on any of this?
What you've said makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Good news, Plero. We've made significant inroads with the Sayadans who aren't our major rivals. In time, all beings on Sayada will understand that they, too, are part of the harmony. So you remember we had that quest to pacify minor faction villages near the coral. I believe this is that completing. There is other news, Plerogyra. I will let Liao Gramel explain. The old-timer insists you hear this from him.
He wants to eat the Smurfs.
I was going to make a joke there. The problem is you just like rush at the premise. You just state the premise of the joke out loud. I was going to work my way there. So what does my master statesman want to tell me? To keep your wits about you, my lord. During the recent missions we came across, how do I explain this? An aspect wandering the uncharted lands. After the storms and the dieback and the starfall, it is hardly surprising that some wander lost or in doubt. I would agree, except that this aspect, Xenos, is not in the chorus. We found them with our eyes, not our minds, my lord. I love the idea, like, that is such a good way to establish how weird their, like, moment-to-moment experience of life must be.
No, I agree. One thing I really like about the Endless games is how weird the stuff is, and how culturally, philosophically, the experience of being these things is emphasized. That weirdness is emphasized, and I think this is a really great way for them to state it.
Yeah, sorry, my illness is not fully receded, and all of a sudden it's really kicking up. Well, how could this be? One of our number cut off from the chorus. Another clan, then? A different chorus? I must speak with them. Of course, my lord. Be aware, though. Xenos remembers nothing except their name. They could be dangerous. I will have the guards bring them. Thank you, my lord. I dared to ask to you, though you do not know me, nor I you. You are welcome to the Harmony, though I confess this is hard to process, to digest. You stand here, yet not a whisper of your thought echoes in the chorus. Who are you, Xenos, the unfamiliar? They seem to have gotten a little confused here with their who's brought forward. Because that last line was definitely Player Gyra speaking, right? And then this one is definitely Xenos. You start with the most difficult question. I do not know who I am. I have only flashes of memories. Of noise and flame, stars exploding, screams in the chorus. But nothing is clear or substantial. I need help, my lord, to understand who I am and what happened. We will help you, Xenos. We will return you to the Harmony. What would be the best way to bring out those lost memories? So we can try to provoke his memories by, exploring and seeing things, show him stuff and see if he remembers any of it. Or we can excavate, sort of the opposite, go in there and see what we can bring him to remember. So this one requires us to build 2 laboratories and gives us a bonus that's not coming up on the mouse over.
Amount of dust.
And this one gives us a temporary damage bonus, I believe. So we'd have to explore 20% of Sayata. We do have people out exploring, and we're at 13% right now. So this is, this is another 50% more of the world than we currently know, right?
Okay.
I do think we intend to build laboratories. We are trying to fix our science up. So yeah, let's go for excavate.
Yeah, let's do that one.
We will keep you here, where Sayata's finest philosophers can question and examine you. Brilliant minds, who I'm certain will discover who you really are. I am at your service. I do not know if they can come to understand me better than I understand myself, but I will cooperate in any way I can. The balance will be restored, I'm sure. Okay. We're gonna help him out. We'll figure it out. All right, we did discover a provisions curiosity, so we got ourselves some more titanium. We have quite a lot of titanium. Now we just need things to use it on. So we want to build laboratories, obviously. We're going to need some military units. At some point, even with their low difficulty aggression modifications, those guys, the xenophages are going to declare, or necrophages are going to declare war on us again, and we need to have troops all ready at that time. So let's build up at least a couple of sentries.
I have a question.
In fact, I'm going to maybe buy out the first one. I know we have a lot of uses for dust. We're making dust pretty quickly. But yeah, again, just to have something to fight back with at the moment. Yes, what is your question?
So in your little luxury resource thing, you have 34 out of 50, 24 out of 50.
Yeah.
50 is the maximum you can have?
Yeah, these are strategic resources.
Strategic, okay.
The luxuries are here.
Okay.
All right, you were headed towards something over here. You repeatedly trespassed on our territories. The tread of your armies echoes in our burrows. The swarm will react if this continues. No, I know. The swarm's going to react no matter what. That's kind of your deal. And there's that forsaken burial site we're headed toward. We might be able to just take on the sisters now. They're not very numerous. We can specialize our sentries, or our archers here. So this one, the one that costs titanium is the bonus range specialization. Range 4 instead of range 3. Whereas the other one gives you bonus damage when attacking in groups, as long as you're adjacent to at least 2 friendly units. We don't actually have any titanium income, and this is a lot of titanium, but also that the extra point of range is huge, right? Like,
yeah,
that's
and
such.
I mean, and you don't have the dust to specialize the other one just now.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so
we can further specialize in this direction by gaining bonus critical chance if attacking before moving. Once we have access to some, whatever that is, it's this one, Lazualin. So this is what they have in this game instead of the like the loadout management, I guess.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think some people found the loadout management in the previous game to be a bit fiddly. Personally, I really liked all the options that it gave, but again, like as always, we have to, how do I want to put this? Account for my desire toward maximalism.
Right.
I tend, given all of the things being equal, I tend to prefer for a game to get more complex, not less. And that is not necessarily always reasonable. I get that.
It's something I think is really interesting about you and I together and tasting games, considering the games I make are often less maximalist, and I tend to prefer things that are a bit more streamlined or elegant.
It is bittersweet seeing these kelp forests exposed to the hot sun, but we will not be swayed from our mission.
Oh, I think that's because that was our first camp on land that used to be underwater.
Okay.
Is why that happened. Now, we can't actually attach this. The reason I was a little slow to convert it was that it's not actually adjacent to any of our existing territories. But then I realized that there's necrophage swarms running around here, so I wanted it to be a little bit less disruptible.
Yeah.
And my plan was not to evolve it into a city. I don't know if it will if we can gather the glass steel without converting it further. But I need to put down another coral polyp somewhere so that we can connect this stuff.
Well, what I was saying before a cutscene interrupted us is that I really appreciate your enthusiasm for maximalism. It's really a delight.
Also, can I just say here, like, the music, all of the music pieces that we've heard so far in Endless Legend 2, I have thought are just like absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really quite beautiful, and
it has a thing that you don't get a lot of in 4X games, I feel like, is emotional evocation. Like, the thing that's happening, certainly from the perspective of this faction, and I'm assuming right now that the piece we're hearing now is faction specific. Like, there's a sadness here. Mm-hmm. Most 4Xs are not interested in making you sad, you know?
Yeah, there's this sense of just this almost unfathomable, irreparable loss, and starting to claw back from that in a way that I appreciate actually very much. That, hang on,
yeah.
Go ahead and kick these asses. I appreciate very much that in all the endless games we played, nothing really starts as a tabula rasa. And nothing really starts as like a civilization that just is starting. It's always people trying to build back or build up, or they have a history. And I really appreciate that. When we played Endless Legend and we played the Mer people, I don't remember what they're called. They had like a sense of culture and a sense of who they were, and it's just, I don't know. I really appreciate this aspect of it, that we are starting, but with history, because there always is history to start with.
Mm-hmm. What a weird bunch of enemies.
You're a weird bunch of enemies.
Okay, I guess. So you have 3 movement. I don't think moving forward is going to give them access to my archers. I think if they want to get my archers, they already have them. Is that right? Because, like, does woods... Well, dense forests has 2 movement cost. Now, if I stay put, they'll have to go 1, 2, 3. Okay. We can make use of our cleave here. That's right. Death Blow gives us an additional strike if we kill the enemy with it. Or Power Slash just deals a whole lot of damage to both of them. Unfortunately, the cleave isn't quite going to do the damage necessary to kill that guy. So we'll take this the other way, and then you. Alright, but I think at this point we've got them. Ooh, nice crit. Alright, the last of the beasts lets out a spine-chilling scream and slumps to the ground. Alita rushes to its side as it takes its final breaths. As she consoles the horror that was once her village mate, far in the distance, something monstrous howls with grief and fury. I hope you find peace now, daughter of Bor. One day, perhaps. Here, a map of the ancients' places as we promised. Be careful what you wish for, though, aspects. And you, farewell, Lida. Okay.
You also be careful what you wish for.
Honestly, like my read of what just happened is that it's probably going to be bad for both of us. That's the implication that I got. So I'm looking at the territory here as it's shaped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jirem is obviously between Irush and our capital, and it would be the sort of the most obvious way to connect them, but I think I actually want to put my coral polyp down in Eshprai, because we're going to get more of this land revealed during the next thing. We already have a resource, this Hyperium deposit, that's still a little bit underwater, but it's close enough to the surface that it's sticking out of the water right now, so it's got to be cleared in the next tidefall, right? Even though it's inland water, I'm going to assume that it's going to be. And then, you know, so far it has been the case that all of the revealed land is more valuable than the land that was surface. So I think I'm going to build around Girem. We can connect Eshprai to the capital and then Irush to Eshprai is what I'm thinking. So let's plan for that. And I am gonna go ahead and buy out this other archer. Okay. And I am absolutely... Oh. I walked us outside of our border. Well, okay, that's fine. We have to go into this space no matter what next turn, so I'll just upgrade us there. And then still want to be building units. I'm going to build at least one more cavalry. It's a shame we don't have any, like, and this of course is very intentional. We don't have any like heavy ground units. Oh, you know what? I built a temporary bridge into a fucking dead end. I thought I was going to be able to climb up here, but I didn't. The cliff. The cliff's, it's, you know, it's a little bit camouflaged by the trees. I'm a goof. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing presentationally, like, it is so gorgeous, but sometimes it's a little hard to read elevation.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we want to spend the time? I think we want to spend our next bunch of influence on this Irish maneuver. So I think Zoo is going to remain just a loose coral grower for a while. I mean, it's doing some fantastic work on that front.
I'll say, having done a number of hex grid maps with different levels of elevation, even just like having a little X pop up along the hex side, would make that more readable.
Sure. Interesting. They are buried together because they banded together. They call themselves the Forsaken, all banished by their tribes. Have them take notes and make drawings. If this plague breaks out among our people, we must identify it quickly. Indeed, or we will all become Forsaken. Alright, so interestingly, that has reduced the cost of treaties on the Empire for the next 10 turns. It's given us a desire to be together with others. What a curious quest.
Well, also, like, if you have information about a disease, maybe people are more likely to make a treaty with you to get access to that information.
Maybe. All right, so we're about to finish another lab. We have 2 different quests to build labs. How did those end up overlapping? Okay, the third lab I think finished. The third lab for this finished right before we got this.
Okay.
So the 4th lab for this will be the first lab for that. We'll have to do one more afterward. You have fine new temples to science aspects, and the inquiry has sent the Cloud Reader into hiding. For that, friend, I'll share some science of our own. Okay, reduce the cost of Hydromatic Laboratory, which unlocks the Hydro Pump ability, plus 5 industry of adjacent to Riveron districts. Okay. And we've pacified all the Amatrine villages in that territory that I believe is now Brown's territory. So that part's not too valuable to us, but it's nice to help others, right? Sort of generally.
Now, how many factions have you pacified?
I don't know. Several. Why do you ask?
Well, something that we did in the previous game was, you know, the assimilation and getting new military units, and that hasn't really come up here.
Yeah. Well, those were outside of our territory. But yeah, this protectorate stuff. I had held off on taking a protectorate because I thought the next step of our faction quest might ask us to do it. So I was trying to make sure we were killing two birds with one stone. But our faction quest has gone off in a different direction. So we have within the regions that we have built cities in, we've pacified Foundling and Unseeing Seers villages. It looks like just one each. Although we have two more Foundlings villages nearby. So let's see here. If we assimilate these guys, we'll get +4 health per pacified village on our units, and also +15 health on our units. So just a nice boost in HP, as well as gaining access to the Scavenger Tactics Counselor trait, Foundling Populations, who give plus Science, but -3 approval per population type in the same category. So they like to work in just groups of Foundlings. And their military unit, the Occultist, which is those things that we got swarmed by.
Yeah.
They have Blood Mending. When attacking, restores 35% health to this unit and adjacent friendly units. Yo, what a good infantry unit. I saw it heal, but I assumed it was just a, self-heal on kill, because I didn't actually read the ability. That's pretty grand. And it would not cost anything to declare our first protectorate. The other one we have access to here, the Unseeing Seers. We'd get +2 science per +2% science per pacified village, and also +5% raw science. So that's pretty good. That's the exact same counselor trait actually. Outside of monsoon season, Unseeing Seer populations give +1 science, -2 dust. During the monsoon, they're +2 dust, +2 science, +2 influence, which is bananas. And then their unit is a ranged unit that is actually, it seems like, substantially similar to ours.
So it feels like I feel like the other one's probably
the Foundlings are way more compelling as a way of improving some things that are busted with our own situation. So one of 6 slots unlocked. You can have way more protectorates in this game than you could have minor faction assimilations in the previous game. That's interesting. And we have to research for these.
Okay.
If we would like more of these. Yeah, that's a good eye there, Amabel. That's a military unit we'll want to build some of. They're cheaper than our cavalry as well, which is nice. Yeah, that's compelling for sure.
Though.
Well, I mean, building a bunch of military units is going to take a lot of turns no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the ability to construct blast furnaces now, which is rad. They are very productive. Like a blast furnace here would over double the output of this city. Please focus on this stuff for the moment. It would take a while to build it. How expensive would it be to buy it? Okay, if we make this our next dust purchase, we'll be able to do it pretty quickly. And then we can build the next lab after we have that. So I think I would want to buy this foundation because the labs want to be built on tiles that have multiple raw output types, right? Although I guess like here is reasonable too. There's 2 different resources here, and then we could build a what do you call it? The other thing. There, the thing that boosts the output of all the buildings around it.
Right. I don't remember Yeah.
Well, apparently this spot's just fully unbuilt as well. So yeah, +1 on each tile producing at least 2 types of yields, +2 for each adjacent anomaly. That's right, we built these 2 out first because they were adjacent to the anomaly. But yeah, let's put a lab right there. We'll put that in the queue. and we'll just buy out this blast furnace with our cash as soon as we can afford to do so. We are still quite a few technologies away from Era 3. I don't know why this got unselected, but this is still where I would like to go. All right, and then combat. Our scout has been attacked by a necrophage army, and we die on retreat, but that's all there is to do. Yeah, the one that I ran into a dead end, it ran into necrophages on the way back out of the dead end. They're feeling ornery for some reason. Can't imagine what that could possibly be.
They always are ornery.
Well, I am provoking them. This is the joke.
Maybe they should chill.
Maybe.
Out.
Now,
Facial necro.
Now, one thing that's tricky about this, that's what they're doing. Amabel, they have to create corpses in order to eat them. Now, one thing that's not ideal about trying to lay one of these things out ahead of time like this is that I have no idea where the anomalies are going to be.
Right.
I guess my plan is just going to be to put it here.
Now, as long as you're in
all the tiles
territory,
around here are good.
You'll have access to. Do you have to be adjacent to the special thing that's underwater when it comes up in order to get it, or
no, that's a strategic resource deposit. We can just build a forge on top of it, or a
okay.
You know, what do you call it? An extractor, rather.
Right.
We have another army that seems to be coming over here after my other scouts, so let's explore this way instead. Hey, look at that stuff. Let's go get the stuff. It was dust and influence. Hooray. And vision of another great big Hyperium deposit shooting out of the water. This is one thing I really like about this water receding system is the way that you can do a very organic scout ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a lot of the money for our blast furnace, but this did need to get done. What's going on here? We have an icon above all these friends. I don't know what it means. So those are more foundlings villages.
Yeah.
So if we were to take over that region, that would be actually very good news for us. Sorry, don't go anywhere. Do this thing. It's important. All right, finished our technology. Our heroes should be respawning fairly soon, I would think. Where's my heroes circle? Injured guy. Are you good? Okay, yeah, he respawned this turn. I saw the one thing here and I was like, oh, I guess our cavalry finished. But no, it didn't. It's right there. And it's nowhere near finishing. Okay, let's what do I want to do with you? Do we want to just run back? Actually, I mean, we want to keep exploring. I'm just I'm a little leery of losing units. Yeah. Let's come back and collect some of the stuff we're building here. We'll pack up together. And then, so we've already improved our Empire science output per turn considerably just since we started researching this, even without finishing it. I'm confident our science is going in the right direction. How are we going to deal with... So this would give us an immediate district fortification boost on City Hall. Is this just the name of the central... Okay, yeah, this is the central district of every city. So this is a considerable amount of free fortification even without building the garrison, which is another very significant amount of fortification. That's
wow,
huge.
yeah.
But I want to, we want to keep developing resource-wise. I'm scared, is all. I'm scared.
I've never known that to be the case when you play in these games, for you to be scared or cowardly or wary of anything.
That's correct. You
Boldly.
haven't.
I love you.
I love you too. This allows us to build trading posts. We do have a quest to build trading posts. Generally speaking, just more dust and influence income is going to let us rush more stuff out. I'm a little less with the way our empire is shaped and the fact that our stuff is so spread out, I would ordinarily prioritize roads very significantly, but the coral really de-emphasizes that for us. We could pick up dust lytics, which will give us access to the lithosphere gallery. That's a pretty huge amount of dust. Just 50 raw dust. Yeah, maybe it makes more sense to pursue this. If we build roads, our enemy can use them. Right?
Yeah.
But only we are fast along the coral. Alright, it does seem like they are pretty aggressively and relentlessly hunting down my scouts now, which I don't care for.
Yeah. Why is there a red dot on the cup? That's the second icon on the left of the screen.
Because there's new information there.
Okay.
You know what? You're annoying me. I'm gonna annoy you back. Can I really not attack these guys from here? I feel like we're adjacent to them. Somehow they're just in a spot where they can't quite be attacked. Doesn't look like there's not cliff faces. There we go. I'm not sure why it wouldn't let me initiate. I assume they're going to retreat. Yeah. Now who's the boss? Now who's definitely terrifying and winning?
It's you?
It's me. That's right. Hooray. So this is just the victory panel, right? Stuff is happening in these quests. We don't exactly know what it is, but these encounters with key characters could eventually open other paths to victory. We just
we did the one.
We just displayed our scientific prowess, and so we're being taken more seriously on this front. And there's all this other stuff. We'll get there. We have the opportunity to get there. So, influence-wise, I'm going to go ahead and connect some things here.
These basalt plains feel like another world. An unbalanced land of hard stone where life struggles to overcome death.
Okay, maybe there's a little thing for each new type of terrain you settle in, or maybe it's just the types that were initially underwater. All right.
I'll say this as well. Voiceover work, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said before, the ways in which they try to be emotionally evocative in a genre that, from what you've shown me over the last year and a half, typically hasn't been, is really neat, and it gives it a really distinct identity. I think it's part of why I respond to this better than I have to a lot of other games in the genre that you've shown me.
All right. Well, they got our other scout, but not before I managed to steal 14 titanium. So we're doing it. Yeah, the only emotion that like civilization is interested in evoking is nationalism.
Yeah, and so for people who have actual moral fiber, like disgust.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm calling out nationalists. Take that.
It's a pretty hot take there, sweetie. All right, so we'll be able to buy that out soon enough. And we're pretty close to being able to connect all this stuff. Once we have the glass steel deposits connected, we can set up extractors and start actually banking the resources. And I'm not sure what we're even going to do with a bunch of glass steel. You know, we don't have a use for it really for the moment. But I'm sure we'll figure out something. At the very least, we probably have some unit who has... oh, here it is.
We're expecting this. We think you in advance for your dead is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, he's stopping the build of my... stopping the build of my unit. That's annoying. So we can't... Oh no, I can reach his main force this turn. I guess we'd better. We gotta break them off the walls, otherwise we're never gonna be able to finish building anything. Alright, they went for the battle, which I don't love. We're maybe a little spread out. How do I want to position here? So this stuff is the city. I'm not exactly sure how blocking terrain is going to work. You know, we want to be very careful to bottleneck their access to the archers. You guys have 4 movements. Let's back you out to here. You guys move up. Our hero can be in this space since we have a little bit of extra range. And then everybody's just defending on the first turn. Look at how harmonious my tactics are. Alright, there's a lot of these little fuckers. Well, we got to get rid of the Necrodrone. The uninterrupted forest movement is too much. You must be laid low. I was afraid it might take all of that. That's fine, we got there. Alright. Now, burning you down would seem to be the next most important thing. Even clearing your forest cover, I'm still definitely not killing you. But once we can reduce them to just, you know, four small melee units, obviously things are going to get a little bit easier.
Oh, someone's trying to sneak around.
Alright, does the hero have this kill? The answer is probably. Now keep in mind, as a cavalry unit, we do get some bonuses for charging.
Mm-hmm.
But also, this position is pretty important.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to just stay put. The other reason to not... The reason to not stay put, I guess, would be Power Slash. If I think I could create a position where I could kill both of these guys from here, then that would be worth pursuing. I might be able to do that. But I think it's really important that we clear that dude instead.
Okay.
No enemy ranged units. Okay. Got a lucky crit there, so I can step forward into this at least. Yeah, if that thing ends up in melee combat with our hero, we'll be just fine.
No, this is a position to do power slash?
It is. Okay, that was a lucky crit. I don't think it probably changes very much, but it's still lucky.
Good job, sweetheart. That was very well done. I thought you exerted like really good tactics, a real careful control of the situation and controlling their mobility.
Thank you.
I think you're really good at that.
All right, so we got level ups on our heroes, and I was able to buy out that other unit. So yeah, any kind of rain of arrows. Okay, yeah, this is an area attack. It hits a circle of tiles. Does bonus damage based on might and determination. And you know, we actually do have some determination. I like that. I think that's a big gain for us. And then the other one, we haven't reached up into the next tier yet. Our teleport charge is interesting. Physical training is just +5 damage, +1 damage per stat point. Which would be +9, which is pretty significant as like a percentage increase on his total damage. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of thinking we need a bunch more health for our frontline units. Our army sort of like lives and dies on our ability to keep people out of the archers. We go ahead and buy this blast furnace. Okay, only 7 turns on the lab. And then from here, money's going into the war, obviously.
Right.
But having broken 1 stack of his units with no real losses there, I think is certainly... My hope is that it's going to make him leery, at least. Make him a little nervous about continuing. Unfortunately, I think what's definitely going to happen is he's just going to run the next stack into us immediately. And we probably are going to lose somebody if that keeps up. Gracchus really took a lot of damage. I'm glad we're at least ending our turn on friendly ground. Getting that good replenishment. And then, actually, did we want to go ahead and attach... Oh, you know what? There is a maximum number of territories that can be attached to a city that doesn't have an upgraded city hall. And our city hall is only level 1 because it does not have... So districts level up when they have 4 other districts adjacent to them.
Okay.
So you can see our advanced habitations here is level 2 because it has grown-up stuff. So yeah, we actually only have 3 districts. So I need to build another district around here before we can gain another region. Unfortunately, it's not really what I want to be using the construction queue of this city to be doing right now. I guess it doesn't have to happen right this second. We'll be fine without it happening right this second. So let's hit end turn and see what the necrophages do. Coral expanding. Great news. They are in fact running up on us, although I don't know if I understand the reason to run up on us in this way. Why not bring the big army adjacent to me instead of a single guy? But okay, we got some decent healing there. We have some decisions that we are able to make. Yeah, we have some decisions. We're in a place to accomplish some things, but also we're definitely out of time. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, it's war again. Is this the 3rd war with these guys already?
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully this time we'll be able to do something a little bit more conclusive. Although I do, now looking at the screen again, already see another 5-stack. We'll just... All right, well, so first we'll survive, then secondly, try to do something a little more conclusive. So come back for that, and we'll see you then.